Hello and welcome everyone to another Fleet Ops audio commentary. Your host today is Yaniman, and we have a 2v2 for you today. This 2v2 is on Asteroid Halma. It's a 4-player map. I think it is roughly 18k by 18k. We have on the top left corner, the top left team is the red Klingons, and this is Funnystuff. Now his teammate down here in the bottom left as the white Borg is Konsumat. Now the right hand side team we have as the dark green, this is NuclearDude. And over here, his teammate as the light green Borg, this is Mort. So we can see that Mort is doing the very standard Borg thing of producing 4 resource simulators and producing his conduction matrix. And that'll allow him to get upgrades to his collective connections as well as build uplinks. Down here we can see that his teammate, NuclearDude, is going with the fairly standard mining colony and star yard. And the left team, we can see the Borg here. Actually, this is an interesting choice, possibly a possibly a mistake, is that he's building an incubation center at first. Now, what this would do is give him more supplies over the long haul of the game, but he's not going to get his conduction center up, and he's not going to be able to produce anything above a probe. So that can hurt his early game as far as offense. So you can see that he's now putting up his conduction matrix. So we'll see. We'll see if this is ends up being a good or bad turn of events for him. And his teammate up here, Funnystuff, is doing a fairly standard Klingon build, though we do see Quebecs here, and those are going to be, I think what Funnystuff is looking at here is these are going to be more effective against the Borg, since they're a little bit stouter as far as their ship durability. Though the left team is still going to have to deal with the fact that they're playing against Romulans. So 5 barrels would actually be very nice, because they could pop in here and go after these make some mining raids. Now, this Romulan here is probably going Laval's, and we should see the Talshiar here. I forget exactly what that's going to give, but so we shall find out. That is actually probably going to end up going generic refits then. So we'll shortly see. So here we can see that Mort is establishing the first energy node level, and that is going to be for collective connections, and he is sporting 2 detectors, and it looks like he ended up running into a scout somewhere, possibly the Klingon one. A Klingon scout versus a Borg detector will actually, the Klingon scout will actually win. And as we can see over here, that the scout is dealing in a lot less crew than it normally would. So it looked like it had a little bit of engagement somewhere. So nonetheless, the detectors do make powerful early harass on economy ships. So if they can manage to pop in behind and find an empty freighter, they can actually take a couple pot shots at an opponent's economy. Now these detectors would have to go after the Klingons, because the detectors don't actually pack enough punch to go after a resource assimilator with 1 or only 2 of these. So maybe it looks like he is just using these as sort of really eyes on the ground sort of ships, which is one of the things that they're useful for. And you can see that the Klingons are hanging out here and have a good vision on the Romulan, and there you can see the generic frigate refits, which are exact. So this is actually going to provide a decent counter against the Klingons. However, I don't exactly recall if they are very good against the Borg. So we'll see if NuclearDude's strategy ends up paying off. So we can see here that Konsumat, Funnystuff has actually gone to his natural expansion and is actually playing a fairly strong Klingon game at the moment, supporting only 3 of these offensive ships, but that's going to be plenty enough in order to take over any sort of early econ harassment like these detectors. Now, unfortunately, they are a little bit out of place. They're over here protecting the main base, and Mort is going to take advantage of this, and we'll be able to snipe a couple of these freighter ships. And unfortunately, this constructor just doesn't have enough firepower to repel something like this, though it might discourage this one detector. However, you can see that this natural expansion is not that far away from the base, and so these Quebecs are going to end up being able to come in here and chase these guys away. Just in a little exchange of fire, nothing too much more than that. These detectors know that they're not going to be able to win that, and you can see that they are basically below 50% apiece. So they're going to back off. Now, you can see down here that the Borg are preparing to move up into their natural expansion. So they're going for the economy. However, you can see that Mort has already gone here, as well as his teammate NuclearDude. They're setting up their natural expansions. This map plays very well towards expanding into your natural expansions. You don't have to do a lot to protect it, as there's really only a single opening here that leads into your base. So, plus that gives you an extra early warning in case your expansion gets attacked. You know they're coming in potentially to your base, and you can counterattack on the fleet. Additionally, this gives you easy access to your star yards for repair. Now we can see that Mort is fielding his first real offensive vessel as the scout cube is coming out. This looks like a regen scout cube. This will allow this Borg vessel to have extended lifetime, because what will end up happening is he'll take some hits, and if you're fielding one of the other modules on the scout cube, what will happen is it'll get down to 15-20%, and it really will just take forever to repair. So effectively, you'll be walking around, you'll take hits that you can't recover from. The regeneration module will allow you to recover from those much quicker, though at a little bit of a sacrifice to firepower. So it's a bit of a trade-off. However, I'm not exactly sure where he's going to attack. It's really not enough to take out a resource assimilator. Again, even with this single scout cube and these pair detectors, the firepower is not enough to really take on a Borg resource assimilator. And now we see that Funnystuff is fielding 5 of these Quebec classes, and that is a little bit more than enough to take on these ships, especially since they can peel off and go repair. So it looks mainly that Mort is providing a little bit of offense here in the choke point, where everything has to go through in order to transition from, say, the left to the right side. So it's a little bit of a deterrent. He's got a second regen scout cube, and so he's starting to build up his fleet. And here is a third. So the question is, what is this one going to be? This could very likely be a